Welcome, welcome, family and friends, players, haters, congratulators, and participators, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Music, the Truth About the Truth. We are your host. I am TC Caldwell, BKA, your big homie Stormy Weathers, right out here in the Hip Hop Plaza on 95 South from Hip Hop Boulevard, NYC. And I'm taking it straight to the West with the kings of the Las Vegas Strip, none other than King KC Cousin and King DC Don DeCosta, and you are tuned in for a wonderful, wonderful show with our special guest this week, William Jordan Jr., right here on MovemRadio.com.
What's happening, William?
You name it, a lot. God's blessed me. That's all I can say. Doing well. Doing well. How you guys doing?
We all right, man.
Good, good.
So, William, get the ball rolling, man. How long you been out here in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas now 7 years. Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah.
It's
Out of
been,
where?
Well, I'm originally from Kentucky, but as soon as I graduated from college, I moved out to California. I lived out there for a while, a long while, LA and Orange County area. And then I moved to Vegas, really just be closer to my kids because my ex-wife moved up here, and it's been a great move for me. So
You've been pretty busy locally, even. I mean, like you've been doing the thing with Rhythm Nation and the cats.
yeah. I actually, when I'm, like I said, I honestly did not come out here to continue on pursuing my singing career, but it worked out that way. Rhythm Nation was the first group that I got a chance to be the lead singer for out here. And I've been with them ever since. So I mean, we still have some stuff coming up later this month, and our calendar. And I've been fortunate to be able to sing with other groups and do a lot of stuff on my own. It's taking me all over the world. It's been amazing ride. So done a lot of recordings during this pandemic. I recorded a couple gospel songs. I got a song right now that's on the radio called "Shoulda Woulda Coulda" that was written by Sid the Kid. Sid, I think his last name is Smith, saxophone player. And
I know Sid. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's been a major roller coaster ride for me, and I'm still enjoying it.
So, William, when did you start singing? What age were you, and what precipitated you to get into singing?
Oh, my family. I grew up in church, and my dad, actually, be honest with you, my dad joined church after I did. My mom always took us to church, and my dad was a singer, not of gospel, mainly secular music. He was out in the club singing and stuff. He had a pretty decent career, but my whole family sings. It's like when you go to a family reunion, for my family, it's like going to a gospel concert. Really, from the little kids all the way up to the older folks, who singing some gospel, is just beautiful. And so it's in my blood. My uncle was a great bass player. The minister of music at my church was a guy named Jeannie Wilson. He actually toured with B.B. King, played bass for B.B. King, and also sang. So I started really early in life. I would say probably like 3, and just kept going from there. But as you guys can tell, I probably have a pretty high voice for a guy. But as a kid, I had a mousy voice, really, really, really high voice, and so much so it's like a piercing voice. And my mom's like, my nickname is TT, be quiet, but I never stopped singing. And now, and she, of course, before she passed away, she's talk about that all the time. Like, you never stopped singing. I'm so happy you didn't. Look where it's taking you and where you're headed to. God's blessed me with the high voice, and there's some benefits to it. I can't sing any Barry White, but I can sing a lot of other stuff.
Yes, we know, especially as we'll get into it later about you being singing over at Bobby Rose's place.
Yeah.
And the guy that was with me from iHeartRadio asked me to ask you about coming back the following week to do a song that I asked you to sing, but we'll get into that later. So
okay. Yeah.
So if I may, like so I come from a big family with talented folks, do a lot of singing, and like you said, get together and it's like a concert. So let me ask, just for the sake of spirit, because I know all big families do this, who was your competition when you were singing? Who was it that you were singing and they just had to come sing harder than you sing harder and they sing harder? Who wanted to get the most claps or the biggest plate or the most treats out of whoever, out of the grown-ups in the family?
It would be the older guys. It would definitely be the older guys, the ones that are like the deacons in churches and stuff like that. I'll be honest, when I was growing up, I mean, I could sing, but I don't really think I was on their level at that time, to be honest with you. Their experience and control was on a different level than mine at that time. I mean, now I definitely can hold my own, but back then, when we started reunion, the older guys that was like the ones in the deacons, like I mentioned, my cousin Jeannie Wilson, he toured with B.B. King. That dude could play, sing. He was part of a group called the Golden Tones in our church. It was a quartet, actually, no, quintet, 5 guys. And if anybody was ever sick and I got to sing with them, it was an honor. It's like, I got to sing with the Golden Tones? Oh my God. It was amazing. But yeah, he was definitely the guy. But he really had no competition. Now there were some younger female members of our family that could blow. They could sing, but they really weren't interested in entertainment at all. But they only sing in church, and but they could. I tell people, in church there's always a lot of great singers, but some of them just don't want to go into the secular world at all, or they can't because they don't have the look or the mindset to even deal with what comes along with singing in the secular world. So.
I'm glad you said that, and that's something that I'm gonna ask that we revisit a little later, because you actually said something very profound regarding the look. But just right now, while we're talking about your growing, so you started in church, as many good singers start in church. You had the support, you had the inspiration, and you had folks around you that didn't have an opportunity to pursue it. When did it hit you that you knew outside of church, and when it got into your mind that, hey, you know what, I can do this outside of church and I'm good at it? When did that hit you?
College. I was about maybe 20 years old, and I remember it was St. Patrick's Day, and the dean of the music department, I was a criminal justice major. The dean of the music department came to me and asked me to sing My Wild Irish Rose to his wife. I'm like, this dude is the dean of the music department. He has all these singers, and he called me. I was like, okay, maybe I got a little something going on here. And then when I moved to LA, I was blessed to sing with our R&B group and a couple of different inspirational groups. I signed with actually with Berry Gordy, and he actually got sold a lot of Motown to, I guess it was MCA. He started a small record label called New Horizon, and the group I was with, we were the first male group with that group, and we recorded several songs. Unfortunately, they were never released under that label, but in that process, I was dealing with producers that worked with Tony and Hammer and After Seven, introduced to Babyface's crew. And I remember Kevon Edmonds, I recorded a song, and Kevon Edmonds heard it, and he's like, that guy sounds like me. Who is that? And, I never met him, but just the producers were telling me about it. Then I met Kevon probably about 7 years ago. I met him at a corporate event we were doing in the Valley. And, but yeah, so I knew God's blessed me with a voice. I just needed, my problem is, not problem, but I like singing a lot of love songs. And to make some money, you got to do more than just love songs. You got to do some up-tempo songs and move and stuff. So I had to develop that. And that came later for me. So.
So you doing any original stuff now?
Yeah, I've like I said, I have a few things out. As a matter of fact, I didn't write them, and I haven't written in a while. I haven't written since probably the early 2000s. When I've written it, but the song I did with Sid the Kid, that's out right now. I've been playing it on the radio out here, K 91.5, and it's actually making some noise supposedly in Germany and England. I was contacted last week before last. They're interested in calling me, having me come over there. The idea is for me to continue to promote that song and then ultimately do a full project on me. But we'll see where that goes. I have a gospel song I did called "Cry Out." That one right now is ranked number 87 as of Monday on the gospel charts, internet gospel charts. It's ranked number 87, which I'm happy to say because just to be ranked on, and it's moved up pretty quickly. So I got that, and of course I'm on. You may not know Aria, minister of music at our church, but she has some stuff out that I'm on, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I matter of fact, I had got a chance to listen to Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda.
Yeah. It's funny because like I said, I'm used to doing love songs and just powerful songs. That's really what I really drawn to. So when Sid approached me about doing this song, Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda, I was like, okay, well, it's a catchy song, but it's not but then as I started singing it and listening to it more and playing it more, it's like, oh, okay. So it's a catchy song. It's just, it doesn't really, to me, show off my full range, but all songs are not screaming songs. So, So.
That was the thing I noticed, that it really wasn't a song that displayed your vocal range. I know some songs that have your vocal range. Mm-hmm. As I said, that thing at Bobby Rose, because you did a song by Whitney Houston. I know women that won't touch that song. Yeah. And you've done that song, like I said, when you did it at Bobby Rose, the guy that was with me from iHeartRadio said, you seem to know him. Can you get him to come back next week? Mm-hmm. And I said to him, for what? And he said, I want him to do that song again. And I want to bring the camera and the lights and everything and record it, of which he did. Because after he did it, I sent you a copy. I sent Bobby a copy of it too. So like I said, you have that vocal range. Like I said, that song that Whitney did, I know women that won't touch it. And for a male vocalist to throw his hat in the ring and say, hey, I can do this song. You not only have to have the talent to do it, you got to have the guts to do it.
No, you're right. It's not, first of all, doing anything that Whitney Houston has done is a feat in its own, because she's my favorite all-time singer, period. She is. But I've been doing that song for so long. Now it's just natural for me and a placement for her. And you're right. Every time I do that song, it shocks people. One, because I'm a guy, and I do it in the same key as she does. And so that floors people. I did the song at a wedding. Predominantly white people were at the wedding, and I was with my group with Grady called New Classics, and they already knew. The guys already knew once they hear you, they're gonna be blown away because they're not gonna be expecting this. So I started singing, and the crowd was just talking, not even paying attention. Then I started singing, and then I got real quiet. And the acoustics were amazing, and it just echoed throughout the building. It was just amazing. So by the time I finished that song, it was a standing ovation, and they was running. Oh my God! It's like, and like I said, I can't do Barry White. I got a high voice, so I do what I do with what God's blessed me with.
Yeah.
And that song allows me to. That song, first of all, it's a great song. Dolly Parton wrote it, but it's Whitney put her finger on it, and it's really known more because of her. And for me to sing it, I feel the song. It's a very emotional song, and she makes. If you try to sing anywhere near like she does, she makes you bring out the emotion in the song. So.
And they talk about you when you do it, because the thing that was funny was when Bobby said to you, William, come on up and do something. And you looked at me and said, well, what should I do? I said, do the Whitney song. And the women stood around and like you said, they were talking and stuff. They were like, oh, yeah, that's William. And then they just got quiet. You could hear a pin fall. And all they would talk, I can't believe he's singing that song. That's a Whitney Houston song. And that was the reason I said, do that song, because I knew what the reaction of the crowd was going to be, because nobody's going to believe, like I said, women won't touch that song. And
Right.
for a male to get up and sing it, and like you said, be able to do it in her key, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That speaks for itself. Luckily, we all have a copy of it.
Yeah. In the group.
And hold on one second while we're at that point, because you said two things about two folks that now that you said it, you confirmed what I was thinking. But right now we got to take a little break. So ladies and gentlemen, sit right there, hang tight, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a little pause for the cause, pay a little bills. We're going to come back to you right here on Inside the Music, the truth about the truth with our guest, William Jordan Jr., right here on MovemRadio.com.
You has lost the roots, lost in spirit, and lost in culture. I don't think it's lost. I think it's found. It's just a loose. Just an illusion culture. Lost.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the one and only William Jordan Jr. The one thing I love about sitting in this seat in the studio on the plaza, I get to have a East Coast, West Coast vibe every month with just legends and legends in the making. And sir, I'm hearing you be lauded for singing I Will Always Love You by the incomparable Whitney Houston.
Yes.
That's an emotional song.
Definitely.
Because that song just takes me to a place thinking of my mom and my stepmom whom I lost. A woman that was my fill-in grandmother once I lost all my grandparents. And to hear that a man did it deserve. I know that gentleman, King Don, don't just throw roses just for the sake of throwing them. Right. So I know you. I just know you killed it. And then just listening to your resume thus far, and when I saw your video, when I watched your video, we'll get into your video a little later. I think we're gonna play that later. I said he related to Babyface.
Yeah, I've had that before.
Your timbre, even in that song, your timbre, even in that song, because like you said, it wasn't a romantic song. It was a song. It was a song that you did. But even in your timbre of voice, you definitely sound like a Edmonds. How often, how many times have you been asked to do that to do it, period, outside of Whitney Houston?
My song, turn these lights back on. Okay. No, that song's, I think you're talking about Shoulda, Woulda, Coulda. That's a relatively new song. We're still in the process of promoting that song. So I sing it, but nowhere near on level as often I do Whitney Houston song or Lenny Williams song or some of the other songs I do on a pretty regular basis. It's a relatively new song. So, but I mean, I enjoy singing the song because But
You were going to say something, TC?
No. Please go. Keep going.
I enjoy
No.
singing the song. It's a
I want
fun
him to keep
song.
going.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun song to do. But it's, it's in the lower part of my range, which I actually like singing in because, I just had a history of always singing up in the sky, and to be able to come down sometime and support those notes is makes me feel good to be able to sing there still. So, or now.
So,
Okay.
Will, you recently did Dubai. How you like Dubai, man?
It's amazing. Oh, it was amazing. Oh, it was amazing. It's just crazy how we think of different parts of the world and different people, different parts of the country a certain way, and they're not that way. I went to Dubai. It was beautiful. Everybody was really friendly. I mean, it's clearly a rich country, very rich, but it was a beautiful. Now, I'll be honest with you. That was my first show with the Earth, Wind and Fire tribute group I sing with called Kalimba. And so it didn't really turn out the way I want. I thought I was going over to do the Philip Bailey parts for other Earth, Wind and Fire songs. So that's really what I went there prepared to do. Unfortunately, the guy who does the Maurice White parts got sick. So that meant I had to do all the leads. I had to do all, and that was something right there. It was a feat. So we got there like 3 days before the gig. I spent all 3 of my days in my room focusing on lyrics because I didn't want to mess up at all. And I wasn't used to doing the Maurice White parts. I got a high voice.
Yeah.
So I was cramming in. But I tell you what I learned from that is Earth, Wind, Fire. That band is a beast. I mean, you listen to the lyrics to those songs, and I don't think most people really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved Earth, Wind and Fire, but I can't say I truly focused on the lyrics to a lot of those songs. It was really the beat and just the notes Philip's hitting and the soulful voice of Maurice White, and the percussions and everything else, the whole thing. But when I had to focus on the lyrics, I was like, man, are people really listening to these lyrics? I mean, some of these lyrics are almost like church, almost. It's amazing. Yeah.
So on Earth, Wind and Fire stuff, just curious, how far back did you guys go into the Earth, Wind and Fire?
Oh, way back. There were several songs I never even heard of before, like Jupiter and System of Survival and let me see, just Gratitude and just a ton of songs I had never even heard of before. Obviously reasons I do that one and Fantasy and
After the Love Is Gone.
Yeah.
As an Earth, Wind and Fire fan, I've noticed most of the time there were like 2 or 3 albums that Earth, Wind and Fire had put out. They used to have a female vocalist with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I could tell because of some of the harmonies, even though I heard Philip took the highest notes, because he would sing out the stratosphere. It's just amazing because anyway, the harmonies were, you could tell there was a female vocalist on there with him.
Well, the female vocals that you hear that's the emotion. Right. But in their earlier stages, I can't remember her name right now. They had a female vocalist that was with them too. And at that point, they were really more spiritual. Okay. And I'll tell you, they did the same change that Kool and the Gang did around the same period. Because a lot of people don't realize Kool and the Gang was a straight up jazz band.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kool and the Gang.
That's what they started out as.
Kool and the Gang was one of the coldest jazz bands around. Earth, Wind and Fire was a jazz spiritual band.
Okay.
They were like playing smooth jazz, and so both them and matter of fact, and the OJs as well. All of them kind of made the transition around the same time. Backstabber, all that stuff started happening, and that's when people start thinking that the OJs was a brand new group. Earth, Wind and Fire was a brand new group, and they had albums, smoking albums. Some of their older stuff, you really enjoy it, man.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to do that because
it has a spiritual basis to it.
It was much more spiritual, yeah.
When they started out, their music incorporated a lot of rhythmatic jazz to it, but the actual lyrics to the song and the basis to the song were actually spiritual type church music. Yeah,
like I said, I've been focused on the lyrics so much more now, and and have noticed that. It's like, matter of fact, the gig I did, our last gig was in a city called Pittsburgh, California. And there was a minister there, and he came up to me. He's like, "Oh, you really did a great job on the songs." He's like, "I actually play a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire songs in my church. People don't realize a lot of these songs are like gospel songs if you really pay attention to the lyrics." And that's like, and I was telling him, I noticed that. Now everybody doesn't agree with that, because I saw one lady say, "We didn't need to hear that," and she just walked away. I was like, "Well, it's her loss, because she clearly ain't paying attention to the words. Because if she did, she wouldn't realize it."
Well, you got to understand that there are church people that are like that. I've listened to church people say that. In fact, one of the guys that's a producer for me, and he's going to be on for the August edition, and he's written music for the Temptations, the Whispers, and stuff like that. Aretha Franklin, and his mother was always with, "No, it's not church music, and that's that other kind of music." Mm-hmm. And I said to her, "I'm going to send you a track, okay? And I want you to tell me that it's not a religious track." And she said, "Well, what is it?" And I said, "It's Make Me a Believer by Luther Vandross." And she said, "Oh, well," and I said, "and then there's going to be a secondary Make Me a Believer." I said, "and it's going to be by Layla Hathaway, his brother, Kurt's brother, Ken, and Kurt." I said, "and it's going to be religious style. Tell me that's not a religious song that you would listen to." You know what she said to me? "I love that song so much, I had my son download it so I could play it whenever I got ready." The Williams brothers did a song called "Cool and Water," which actually was an R&B track. So it's just a matter of, like you said, they're not paying attention, because if you sit and listen to the lyrics, you understand that is a inspirational or religious song. Yep. And what you want it to be is not what it is that you're trying to make it be.
Right. Yeah.
And if I may, King Don, because you make a very, very valid point. I just want to say from the position that I sit in, not only with you gentlemen, but as a man of the clergy as well, it's about the spirit. You don't feel the music on the steeple. You don't feel the music you feel the music inside of you. And people were unwilling, from what you guys are saying, people were unwilling to let the music penetrate them, because they just automatically threw religion on it. And I have to remind people, religion is man-made. The Lord is a spirit being. That's why we're able to connect the way we connect, whether it's through music or through this business, this entertainment business, the music business. Like for King KC just saying what he said about Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang, ladies and gentlemen, you learn something new every day on this show. Because I didn't know that. I knew about the OJs because my father and those guys were close, but I didn't know that. And a lot of people don't understand. That's why the music touched you and hit you the way it did. And like you said, King William, when you said, I got into the lyrics, and it gave you a whole different perspective. Not that you weren't receptive, but you were looking with a whole different set of eyes and listening with a different set of ears. And it just gave you, it opens you up, and to hear that from gentlemen like yourself. Once again, I sit here like legends, man. Just the stuff that you learn by just sitting back and hearing who's doing what. While you went from Kentucky to Las Vegas, and in those travels, the people that you come across, Dubai. These are opportunities, and we'll get to this at the tail section of the show. Opportunities that young artists need to pay attention and listen to how things are put together and how things come together for the sake of an artist's success. And what that looked like for one person might be different for somebody else.
Right.
Well, one of the things that's a problem when we say that they don't sit and listen, understand that the music and the words, the lyrics may be of a very inspirational or gospel base. The problem is that they're looking at who the messenger is and not what the message is. Okay, and they'll go, oh, whispers, oh, four tops.
Wait a minute. Let me interrupt that. That's true to a degree, but in actuality, it's based on the rhythm and the keys of the song. Mm-hmm. There are certain keys that are in the secular world. I mean, in the gospel world, there are certain keys that are used during service, different parts of the service. A C major chord. C major is one of the happiest, plus the frequency it gives off. It's a giving.
I'm well aware that I've written gospel songs.
Right. And the key of G also is a strong key. Now, the key of E flat that a lot of people prefer to play at in church is not a key that draws individuals to the pulpit. It is a key that, because of its low frequency, it tends to make individuals want to dance. And you have a lot of gospel musicians. See, you don't know that stuff. That there's a lot of gospel musicians who play in the key of E flat, especially when they
doesn't know that.
No, I was looking at TC's face, especially when they start doing that. When they start walking that bass, they go to that E flat because that frequency creates dance. So what happens, just like when the reason I interrupted was when Kirk Franklin hit the street. Kirk Franklin was a church guy. Everybody knew he was a church guy. And he was singing church songs. He was singing straight up, God, 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 God. And you had a whole group of people that turned their back on him because of the beat, because of the bass, because it made you want to move. And that's what separates a lot of that. There's a whole lot into the composition of music that causes individuals to act differently. The effect that the music actually has on them. But Don knows what I'm talking about. A lot of keys make a major difference in the church. You play a certain key when you want to give up that money. You go to a certain key. You mellow them out in a nice A major with some nice pretty chords.
But a lot of those people will acquiesce only because the song
hold on
and the rhythm, everything
is the same.
The only difference is, like I said, it's who's doing it. You got who was it? I forget the girls. But even BB and TT Winans, they were, for years, people did not like their music because they said it wasn't church music, it was R&B music.
That's true. Some of
it was. It was R&B. My mother started doing that.
Let's hold on for a second. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna see everybody later. We're gonna make a major turn so we can handle some more bills like we got to do right here. And we're going to get back and get some of that input from what was just shared from the two kings on the West by King William. We're going to get some feedback from him on that piece of discussion that we just had. And you just give us a few minutes. We're going to be right back on Inside the Music, the Truth About the Truth, with this episode's guest, King William Jordan Jr., right here on Move'emRadio.com. Baby, don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back.
What's good with you? This your boy K9 the Great, Mov'em Radio, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we are coming at you hot right now. You gotta check out this new album from Brown Key Dollar, featuring top hits like and this life, oh, now God they make man blow. I'm internationally known but locally respected. I can't do anything on my own. You gotta get this one with the title track. Greedy bang bang numbers. yeah. You know me as Brown King, sweet honey music.
Good loving, the album, out now, streaming everywhere. Sweet honey music, Movem Radio.
I will build my world around you, baby. Stand by me forever, stay with me forever. I will build my world around you. I see nothing but love. When I close my eyes, all I see is you.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Sorry, that hope we didn't take too long for y'all. You know, we gotta do what we gotta do to make sure that King K9 we gotta make sure the bills get paid. So if you living anywhere, you know you got to pay to stay. So let's just bring it right on back on this side of the music. The truth about the truth with our guest, William Jordan Jr. Sir, before we went to break, you heard some very insightful information about the resonance of music chords versus the spirituality of what's being presented. Just from that conversation that you heard before we went to break, what say you, sir?
Yeah, I agree with both what both people said about the music, and in particular person presenting it. Because I grew up Baptist and Southern Baptist in Kentucky, and I definitely remember my best friend was an organ player. And when people wanted to dance, he always that bass, and that's what got people up moving to that. But to bring people to the pulpit, yeah, it was definitely a different tone to the music that brought more people there. One of the things that I've noticed though, once I moved to the West Coast and started experiencing different types of churches, like the churches, the New Thought churches, which they don't necessarily sing as much gospel, but they do a lot of positive songs, just positive, uplifting songs. I have noticed that more artists now, in order to try to reach especially in order to try to reach the younger generation, are doing material or songs that sound, if you didn't hear the words, you would think of an R&B song or a secular song, because it's not the normal, what we grew up listening to as far as music is concerned. Matter of fact, there are some songs that started out as secular songs, and some gospel artists taking the secular songs and changed the words to Within a Reason, and made it a gospel song, so that it would touch, like I can't tell you that I'm a huge fan of like Kirk Franklin, but I appreciate what he does because he is touching people. He has touched people that probably wouldn't even listen to gospel music or music about God if it wasn't for what he has done. I think he's doing a great job. I still haven't adjusted to the gospel rap yet, but but I like what I hear out there.
I was going to mention that because I'm the hip hop head, so I was going to mention that because of that very same thing. No, and trust me, I respect and understand it. As everybody knows that watches this show, I had an opportunity to get a production deal when I was a teenager. My father, who's a pretty well-known singer, was like, you're gonna be singing or rapping. I'll be rapping. He's like, man, that ain't gonna be around, man. That's a fad. Get out of here. Okay. And because I didn't know anyone else in the business that I could trust, I went my route of finding out how to learn this business, and just to know that yes, it can be off-putting to some. It can be a little hard to catch up with for others. And I mean, thank the Lord. My father's my biggest fan because he saw what I did with the music, and he was like, if you're going to do it, make it be about something.
Right.
So that was one of the things that I premised doing what I did in hip hop on, was from 5 to 55, you could listen to us because we had something to say that was appropriate for everyone. We used live bands, so we would use the music, as King KC was saying, certain music and certain chords that get your attention. People would hear the Barney Miller theme or Slipping in the Darkness and Busting Loose, and they expecting, us to come out and do that, but then hear these two brown-skinned fellas doing this hip-hop to songs that folks that were 10, 15, 20 years older than us could relate to. So that kind of brought those levels to a meeting point. But yes, there are some hip hop artists that are wonderful and great. And then I'm gonna be honest with you, there's some that's just pimping the game, you know. But just give some time, brother Andy Mineo, Bizzle, those brothers, they saying something good, man. We are the Saints out of Philly. Yeah, and even the fact that one of the groups that I just said, We Are the Saints, has both of the members, actually. Both of the members, we rapped in the same studios in the more, I guess, secular, if you want to call it that way. And then they slid over to gospel hip hop. And I mean, man, these guys I wish them the best of the world and everything. You know, shout out to Brother O and AB, because these were guys that had deals on the table, you know, with other companies and doing well. But while we're there, King William, what do you feel is taken away from the excellence of the music that you're putting together and we're putting out here and that we want to see and we want to hear? We heard how it draws people in. What's some of the things that from your experiences that is just kind of something that you just like, I'm okay with that. I'm good. You can keep that over there. Do your thing, but keep that over there.
Well, I mean, I think that unfortunately, I think nowadays the lyrics don't really mean anything anymore. It's really more of just the beat that's in the music, because I don't think, I mean, I know part of this may be my age, and but I really don't think that people are singing anymore. And even the rappers, not that, like I said, I'm not a huge hip hop fan, but I did listen to some, and there are some I like. Like I was a fan of Tupac, a major fan of Tupac, and others. There's some other rappers that I liked. But nowadays rappers, most of them, I can't understand what they're saying. And then when I do understand what they're saying, I'm not happy about what they're saying, because it's just demeaning to me, to women, to us as a people. And but they're making millions off of it. So like, why are they going to stop? That's just making them successful. And in some cases, you can't even, like my kids. I remember one time a song was being played, and there was a rapper, and I was like, God, what is he saying? They say, we don't know, but it sounds good. And so I just don't think. I think it's actually harder for legitimate talent. Wait, that is a talent, but for people that, in my opinion, can sing, it's really more about looks and the sound of music.
Folks that can lyricists and talent,
Yep. So
that was something that you wanted to talk about, TC.
Mm-hmm.
No, when you mentioned earlier, when he had mentioned earlier the effects that looks have on the industry. Well, it's always been like that, but there was a period where it kind of cooled out for a minute. We had heavier we had heavier women, we had heavier guys. It cooled out, but I mean, like the biggest thing that we're looking at right now, as far as image. You got people out there like Lizzo and them that's representing the big girls now. You got a bunch of thick chicks out there right now. We
had a lot of thick chicks a long time ago with Izora and Marva Wash and all of them.
Right.
Right, but we go through periods where the fashion industry dictates the size and the look of our artists. But right now, in general, everybody is on to a really cosmetic kick right now. Everybody, Right now, I think the filters are off right now. I don't think it makes too much of a difference what you look like, what you sound like. If you can get the social media hits, you can make a situation happen. It's not really, at this point and stage of the game, it's not really about talent. It's about algorithms. The industry has changed. It's all about algorithms. It's about the type of numbers you can bring to the table. As far as artists and singers being singers and artists, it's much, much more difficult because the pool is full. There's so many artists. As a producer, I can listen to a track. I know when the cat's using auto-tune, and when a lot of these artists, if you catch them on a live stage, or if somebody asks them to do something impromptu, it's like that's not even the same person singing. That ain't even the same voice, let alone in tune.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just disappointing. I tell y'all somebody that hopefully you're fans of his. A guy named Bruno Mars. That guy,
Absolutely.
he's
Absolutely.
amazing. I saw him about 6 months ago. He was better live than recording, which I never imagined I would say that, because obviously in the studio you're singing the song, you try to get the best you can. But I saw him live and he was hitting notes and dancing and playing instruments. I was like, this dude is the real deal. He's amazing to me. He just took basically taking the old school sound and added a little bit to it. And his voice and skill is just, I remember going gold and was something, and he's going diamond and platinum, and he's like, this dude is amazing.
He's hot.
You have the high voice. Did you try some of Will Perry's stuff?
Oh, let me tell you the story I did one time. I had a show in LA. I did a show in LA, and Phil Perry redid the song "Call Me," Aretha Franklin. Call me.
Yep.
I did that. I took his version of it. And I added it to my show and I rehearsed it and everything. I did that show. I honestly thought I was going to pass out. Dude, it was wow. I was like, God, he's up there. And I went after it and I did it. But boy, I tell you.
and I actually told some people, I said, you need to listen to some music by Phil Perry. And I sent them some music, and that was one of the songs too. Also one that he did with the Whispers. And they said, wow, he just came along. And I said, just came along.
Been around for a while.
I said, you have no idea how old Phil Perry is. I said, if you want to go back, I said, go back and check out music by the Montclairs. When you hear music by the Montclair, that voice that you hear, the high falsetto, is Phil Perry.
Yeah.
I said, and look at the date on that music to find out how long ago he recorded that.
Yeah, Phil Perry's he's no joke, I tell you. But yeah, I did that song "Call Me," and I got lightheaded after I finished that song. I was like, am I gonna pass out from singing this song?
Yeah, Phil's music is a trip, believe me.
So we talked about image.
So I was just going to ask, you got any more shows? You got any more shows coming up in the Las Vegas area? Where are you going to be performing at coming up?
Yeah, I got a show tonight at a place called Gatsby's. I'm going to guest focus on there. I mean, the show is actually, the main artist is a lady named Janique Nina, and I'm one of the guest artists on her show. I got a show at a private party this Saturday. I got my own show at the Nevada Room on July the 23rd. Yeah, it's just funny. The majority of my shows actually are out of town lately.
California.
Yeah, California, all over. But yeah, mainly California area. Most of them are somewhere in Northern or Southern California. The casinos out there seem like us more, and just different events out there that, Vegas, it's opening up, but I don't have what I really like to have. I used to be part of Greg Austin's M-Town and More twice a week, and I really enjoyed that. That gave me the opportunity the exposure for other people to see and hear me. That was great. I really value the opportunity Greg gave me, but unfortunately, that doesn't exist right now. And I'm looking. I have some people out there trying to find a spot for me, so I can just put on my own show on a regular basis. I mean, I have a great show put together. Just got to find the right venue for it. So.
Yeah, and you did Sherry Gordy's Take the Stage.
Oh yeah, Sherry Gordy. That was actually the first show I did out here, and it's funny because Sherry actually met me in California when I was living in California. She has Take the Stage, and she actually used to take that all over the country. And the winner of that particular contest in that particular city would come to Vegas and perform. And so she came to California, Studio City, and I participated in it. I got second in it, and so I didn't get to do the trip to California, but. Little did I know, 6 months later, I moved to California and tracked them down, and Skip and Lily and those guys. And next thing you know, they hired me, and I'm working there, so I get to sing there every week. So yeah, it was great. You just, I mean, you just never know what God has planned for you and where your road's going to go. Because I promise you, I never ever once thought about moving to Vegas. Never once thought about moving to Vegas. And then, and you know, I'm a little older, so as far as my singing as a career, that for the most part, I was like, I'll just be stuck to. I'm just gonna be singing in church. You know, that's where I thought I'd be at. And so when I came up here and just started singing around some open mics, and next thing you know, I'm singing at Sherry's thing and Greg's thing, and then various people ask me to sing with them and sing at this wedding and that party. Next thing you know, I'm everywhere, just everywhere. I mean, who would have thought I'd be going to Dubai? Who would have thought I'd be going to Dubai be singing? You know, I didn't.
I hear you.
So.
But you know now.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Well, one thing we need to do is we need to have KC tell TC to go and look up William's song.
Yeah, man, go find that stuff, because by the time you come back, I'm liable to be gone. Y'all know I be having to go to work.
I'm gonna go ahead and punch up this.
I'm gigging up here at Lola's restaurant up here in Summerlin. You know, I'm up there every Thursday, so you get an opportunity. Come check me out one Thursday, 6 to 9.
Okay. Yeah, I get out of church about 7:30. So
you do church on Thursdays?
Well, we have rehearsal.
Okay. All right, TC, man, go to the vault, player.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and click a few buttons here behind me. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned right here to see the video by King William George Jr. I woulda, shoulda, coulda, right here on Inside the Music, Truth About the Truth on MovemRadio.com.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I had my eye on this cutie pie. This pretty young lady came into my life. She was the one I wanted for my wife. We agreed to meet, have something to eat, and I bought a ring and did the one knee thing. Now everyone knows that I proposed, but I must confess that she told me yes. I was so happy, I just couldn't wait. Decided to marry on May the 8th. No hesitation, procrastination, just like a cough, y'all. Can't put it off, y'all. Oh man, you're not gonna believe what happened. My wedding day, something went wrong. Went to the bar, I stayed too long. 2 hours had passed when I drank my last. I fell asleep in my brand new Rover, and when I woke up, the wedding was over.
All I could say was
I woulda, shoulda.
Ah man,
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
she said I embarrassed her.
I woulda, shoulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, coulda. Woulda, shoulda.
Got to my job at 7:45. My boss told me I was way too late. 7 o'clock is when you start, and I've got to fire you and it's breaking my heart. My face turned pale, 'cause this job pays well, and now I'm back, y'all, out on my tail.
all I could say was
I woulda, shoulda.
I can't believe I lost a job.
I woulda, shoulda. I woulda, shoulda. I woulda, shoulda. No. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Went to the barber to cut my hair. I used my girlfriend 'cause he wasn't there. Looked in the mirror to check my hair. I said, honey, was it something I said? It's just my luck. My head got clubbed, and all my folks started cracking jokes. I said to myself, and I said to my friend,
I never do that, no, never again.
All I could say was
I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. No. I woulda, shoulda, I woulda, shoulda. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. I woulda, shoulda, I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Woulda, shoulda, I woulda, shoulda. I can't believe this happened to me.
There it is. You saw it right here, ladies and gentlemen. I woulda, shoulda, coulda. That gave me the addicted to love feel for a second.
Okay.
Addicted to love. What was they? Robert Palmer. Just because it was just with the storytelling as well as the band. That was a good one.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was a good
I
one.
can see that.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
I can
that.
see that. Yep. I can see that now that you bring it up. Yeah.
Yes. And I got an addicted to love vibe and feel for that. That was good. And I guess you can kind of tell how y'all were working to get it shot because the video the assistant director and video production director in me, I was like, lady, you're in the mirror. In the barbershop, because that haircut, Jack. that haircut was something, man.
Yeah. Oh, the girl.
That haircut was something. But yeah, it looked like y'all had fun doing that, man. It looked like you had a lot of fun.
The female in the videos, her name is Serena Henry, and she's a background singer for Smokey Robinson. So she's out there too.
Shout out to Serena Henry. We hope that you tune in and are watching right now because you just got a shout out right here inside the music. We might need to get you on here and talk about working with King William right here. Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. I do a lot of film work, independent films, low budget, mid budget, couple big budget joints, independent, and I know what it's like being on set to do that, getting your angles right, getting your sound right. You make sure that your sync is on so that you can get what you need to get right each time. But boy, I tell everybody, for every person in the scene, it's 3 shots. For every person in the scene, it's 3 shots. So we're gonna be here. So let's get it. But it really looked fun, man. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, because you had me cracking up by the middle of it. Once you got beat up,
500 flowers.
waking up in the car. Yeah.
I fell asleep.
You sure get mollywopped on that, brother.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to collectively get together and wish William goodbye. So with that, we will turn it over to KC and let him give his closing.
Hey man, there's not much I can say. You're a hell of a vocalist. I've checked you out many times here in Vegas myself. Usually there's some wisdom that needs to go along with the conversation, but at this point we're really just talking about your talent, man. And you've been jamming. You got the awards. You've been getting your accolades. You're still doing what you do. As God said, don't stop. That's it, man.
Thank you.
That's it for me. Y'all want me to say something else?
No, that's it, brother. See ya.
Now it's just the good quartet of video producer, executive producer, host, and co-executive producer, host, and our esteemed guest. So, King William, you got about 3 or 4 million records in you, sir.
I hope so. Yeah, thank you.
Because they say you surround yourself with who you want to be like. So I've fortunately been able to surround myself with this king right here on screen, and it was just literally out of the clear blue. How do you feel that influence of working with those people has driven you in this business? Because right now I see where you are as a talent. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing all those other gifts that the other Kings was talking about. So I'm gonna say, hey, when we have an opportunity, I would definitely like to hear those other things. But how did being in the midst of those other people push you and motivate you in your journey that you're still on and still growing in?
Well, most of them are a little older than me, and definitely have gone through a lot more in the industry than me. Literally, have Grammys in some cases, and have toured the world and worked with some really elite level artists themselves. I've learned from them. They've taken me under their wings and have been very supportive of me, helped develop me as far as not just a vocalist, but also a performer. You had no choice. If I'm going to be performing with some of these artists like Grady Harrell and some others, I'm either going to have to learn to perform or look stupid on stage, because they're definitely performing. And I appreciate that. I mean, it's crazy because my sister from Kentucky came and sing about 3 years ago, and her mouth was open. She's like, "Oh my God, you're dancing, you're interacting with the crowd. She said, you always had a decent voice, but you're performing." I was like, well, I'm with guys now that have helped me develop into that type of artist. And so I value that to its highest level, because that's also part of entertainment. It's not just singing. It's a whole lot of things you got to do to be a good artist. And I'm still developing, but I think I'm headed in the right direction. So, and they're just very supportive of me. Like Bobby Rose. Bobby Rose is very, very supportive of me. And obviously, Bobby's done a lot of major things, and for him to take, help me and encourage me, that means a lot. So.
Now we also talk about some of the not so great things in the business on this show. So as well, seeing those artists and helping you to grow in your craft and become a better artist and a better performer, even a better performer. What is it, or what was it that made you a better businessman, so that you didn't find yourself on the bad end of the pen when a contract or a deal or an agreement got made?
I think a lot of that comes from getting into those bad deals or bad situations. I remember, oh God, I'll never forget this. One time I did a gig out here, and I sang from 8 o'clock that evening to 2 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't even ask how much I was getting paid. I got paid $107. I sang for that many hours for $107. I was like, that would never happen again. So I'm pretty sure I ask up front how much I'm getting paid from now on. And if I don't like it, I just don't take it. I mean, and all money ain't good money, because there's been some situations where, even this week, I had an opportunity to do a gig, and I had to turn it down. I was like, nah, I don't need that money that badly. I need to rest because I have something else coming up too. So yeah, I just learned. I've been learning from unfortunate experiences. Some of the bad things.
Say that part again about all money, please.
All money is not good money. Yeah.
Young artists, new artists, aspiring artists, please listen to what you've just heard. This man has been applauded, has been just been congratulated on the work that he's done. And he's telling you, all money is not good money. That is the quickest way to find yourself in a bad situation now and forevermore, depending on what your situation is. Folks find it hard to believe when we say no. Don't get me wrong. I love being on stage. I love performing. But I know what I'm worth as well.
What about contracts?
Folks,
do you get into a thing with contracts? I wanted to ask Will about, have you had any problem with contracts? because TC had it, I've had it. I think anybody that's a performer has had bad contracts or contracts that they've been told is one way and turned out to be something else.
Yeah. Well, I definitely had a horrible contract when I was with my R&B group. All those songs we recorded, and we didn't get any. We got our signing bonus of, I think it was like $10,000. But other than that, that's all the money we made off of all those songs. And that was a bad contract. We had management at the time, and we placed it in their hands to look over that kind of stuff. And obviously, they didn't do a very good job on our behalf. As far as the contracts I've dealt with since then, I happen to have. I worked at an entertainment law firm for 3-4 years, and I'm a paralegal. I have a degree in paralegal studies, so I know a little bit about contracts. But most of the contracts I've been getting, and since I've been out here, have been really basic contracts. So I haven't had any problems with them because they're really, really basic ones. Now, if I did come across a contract that I don't feel comfortable reviewing myself, I would give it to someone else to review, which with more experience and education than me. Because I do have, since I used to work in the entertainment law firms, I do still have contacts with a lot of entertainment lawyers. I'm actually a pretty big one, but I won't reach out to him unless it's something really big. So, but yeah. But I haven't had any problems since I've been out here.
You said a great word in that, comfort, being comfortable. As King Don said, he and I together, as well as individually, have had contracts put in front of us that, again, like I said, I was a teenager initially, and I don't know none of this stuff. I'm cold.
Right.
Pop said, that ain't gonna be around. So I had to go learn it. I literally went and learned the business myself. That was how I learned about publishing ownership. Now I was deemed crazy because that was my bargaining chip. You want me to do these songs. So I'm cool with being on stage, but I'm even cooler getting paid to be out there too.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you take it and buy part of it, pay for some of it, sell some of it to somebody else, I still get broke off. I'm cool.
Right.
But you're not going to dress me up, put me out there, do the song and dance, looking like the doggone monkey with the cymbals, ding, 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 ding. And then when it all comes down, they say, oh man, we made $100,000. And I'm looking like with my hands out, they say, oh, no. This what you got. Oh, but you got to pay for this and you got to pay for that. And it was like, thank God for knowing how to read and having a father that actually said no at that time. But all he did was made me determined to do what he knew that I would do anyway, find a way to get it done and get it done where at least I would be in control of my destiny so that I'm not at the age I am now owing somebody 98.3 cents on a dollar if I ever record a song or ever, do anything because I signed a ridiculous contract in my teens and 20s and didn't go through the whole thing. We get ready to wind it down a little bit here. So again, we heard you're from Kentucky. You've matriculated your way to Vegas. Family, family. Shout out to the family. That's a beautiful thing. Shout out to the family. Shout out to William's family. Shout out y'all. Thank y'all for motivating him to come out there to the left coast and the best coast and doing his thing there. But now, for those of us that aren't where you are, how can we follow you, find you, and stay caught up with you, sir?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, of course, William F. Jordan Jr., that full thing, William F. Jordan Jr. You can find me that way. I'm on Instagram, a Singer T, SINGTEE 63 at Instagram. You can also email me even, same thing, Singer T, SINGERTEE 63 at Gmail. You can contact me that way. I usually post everything I'm doing on Facebook and Instagram, just about every single thing. But things always come up, but I usually immediately post it when I'm made aware of it. So yeah, would love to see everybody. I mean, like I said, I got a show on the 23rd at the Nevada Room. That information is on my page, my Facebook page, or you can, like I say, email me and I can give you more information. That should be a great show. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. It's just me and a piano player, not a keyboard player, a piano player. But it's going to be great. It's a great little intimate environment. So looking forward to it. Yeah. And of course, tonight, tonight in Henderson. So yeah, that's it.
I think I know a little something about Henderson. I ain't gonna say where I got all that information about Henderson from, but King Don, what you got to close us out, sir?
Well, what I've got is telling William, thank you.
You're welcome.
I am extremely pleased with the fact that I asked you and you were willing to come on and take the place of an individual that couldn't make it. So I totally appreciate what you've done. And as I said, I'm going to find a way to talk to King K9 the Great and matriculate some of that Whitney Houston song that you did over at Bobby Rose's into that, because I think people need to actually hear that our audience and stuff and our fans need to hear you do that song, because it is by far a truly unbelievable and spectacular piece of music that you've done. As I said during this cast, I know women that won't touch that song, and for a man to be able to matriculate and do all the nuances and everything in that song and carry it off, it's something that needs to be behold by everybody else. So I'm going to talk to K9, and I will have him some way work that in for people to see and hear that. And as I said, I thank you for coming. And at worst, I'll catch up to you on Sunday at church.
I see you Sunday. All right. Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure, definitely.
No problem.
Take care.
And I'll turn it over to my man, TC. It's all yours, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, King Don. First and foremost, I want to thank you, sir, for joining us here. King William Jordan Jr., you are, it's amazing. I really can't wait to actually see you perform live and have the experience of knowing what it is that I'm hearing being talked about, and get to experience it myself. Your energy, your candor, your everything is just so on point. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a brother that, one, you stepped up to be here with us, and you didn't find it a crime to share. I didn't have the Baptist upbringing. I was very Southern Methodist, so it was a little calmer, a little different. But the music was good when it got good. When it got good, and when we fellowshiped, of course, with the Baptist churches and the Pentecostals, those things all came out. The spirit, and that's why I say, we're connected by the Spirit.
Yeah,
we're connected by the Spirit. For anyone that believes it's how a person looks, or how a person sounds, or how a person is dressed, no, it's about we're connected by the Spirit. We find so many ways to find delegations and delineations of differences that we forget what makes us common. And it's our spirit. There's no way that men from all of our different backgrounds, from all of our different cities, are in a place like this together, if not by the Spirit. So take off the man-made coverings, take off the man-made ideals, go with your spirit. If someone feels good as a person to you on the inside, it shouldn't matter what their color is. It shouldn't matter how much money they have. It shouldn't matter what neighborhood they're from or what city they're from. If a person is good and feels good to you in your spirit, go with it, because the Spirit will never steer you wrong. That's why they have the saying, out of the mouths of babes, because children will tell you from the door. If you go to hand them to somebody that they feel is janky, no, I'm not going over there. Yeah. Animals can sense kindness, and animals can sense fear. We're connected by the Spirit, folks. Don't allow these folks in this music game and this music business and this entertainment business to sell you a bunch of shiny rocks and have you believing it's your riches. Your riches are not even here, y'all. So make sure you get comfortable reading contract, get comfortable taking it to someone else if you need some more insight and information. Make sure if you want to get into this business that you put yourself in a position to know your value and know your worth. We're all sitting here right now, and that goes for King K9 behind the camera, behind the scenes, this whole Movem Radio family, King Don and all the plethora of experience he has, King KC and all the bands that he's played with, the studios have been in, me and my little minuscule time on this earth doing what I've been able to do and have been able to make a difference in somebody's life. Y'all could have been wherever in the world, but you was right here on Inside the Music, taking in this knowledge, this music, and this fun. Make sure you follow William Jordan Jr. on all his platforms, all his Instagrams. Go to YouTube, watch I Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda, and get you a good laugh, and then go find some of that good ballad air music, that good Whitney Houston sound that he's been talking about this whole time. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Inside the Music, the Truth About the Truth has been brought to you by Three Pharaohs Productions, MovemRadio.com, Studio 204, 176, Source 3 Entertainment, and Storm E. Weathers Entertainment. Listen, if you don't know nothing else, oh yeah, I got to give y'all the gear shout out. The gear shout out for this week is Infinitainment, baby. I know I had it cocked to the back. I got to make sure y'all can see my eyes. You know what I mean? Eyes are the window to the soul, baby. So shout out to Infinitainment. Apparel, gear, and a book. Check them out on Instagram, Infinitainment, just like this sounds. Infinitainment. Holla at your big homie. He always around. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And with nothing else left to be said, it's peace and love because we need it now more than ever. Holla at your big homie. He always around.